All right, trial attorney Wendy Patrick is joining both Joey and I. Joey, first, your reaction to Jodi Arias' secret testimony that we heard so far.
She has no credibility whatsoever. It's rehearsed, it's contrived, and Yasmin, we've been down this road before. And so the reality is, even stepping back further than that, and I think the appellate court would concur, there was no basis to close the courtroom whatsoever. And so that's highly problematic, but anything that she does say certainly rings very hollow, and forgetting about how it rings hollow to me, certainly it's all about Travis Alexander and his family, and Dave Hall, I think, represented that position quite well.
Wendy, Dave Hall said that testimony should not have been sealed. He blamed Judge Stevens for that. Do you believe Jodi Arias' testimony should have been sealed from the public?
You know, I think they erred on the side of caution, and there's a lot of people that, and I know she's in custody, but nonetheless, there is a lot of concern for somebody like Jodi Arias, who is the subject of so much public hatred. And, you know, Joey hit the nail on the head with the word credibility. She has no credibility in the eyes of the public, but it's even worse than that. So I think there's a lot of tendency on judges nowadays to err on the side of caution, even though there's a great argument on the other side that certainly there may not have been the strongest legal basis to seal the testimony.
Yeah, you know, we talked briefly about juror number 17 and the interview that she gave to a local Arizona television station. I want to read a little bit more from juror 17 from that interview. And what I'm about to read to you, she's responding to the fact that Juan Martinez was the prosecuting attorney who put her ex-husband in jail, and to the rumors that she knew this and went against the prosecutor as revenge. That's, of course, just a rumor. So she says this, quote, "No, I didn't. Honestly, when I saw the name come up, I saw it on social media. I didn't remember him. When I walked into the courtroom and I saw him for the initial jury selection, the only memory that I have of recognizing him is from television. Nothing beyond that." She also says that all her struggles in her life have been because of her abusive ex-husband. So why would she want revenge for his being in jail? Joey, you buy it?
Look, here's the point. The point is that jurors need to be vetted, and we have a process. Wendy knows very well, as the great prosecutor she is, and it's called voir dire, and you question the jury. But there's a questionnaire that asks a variety of questions about your background, about your family, about who, if anyone, has been prosecuted by this office, about what you know about that. And I think it needs to be fairly and fully investigated, because to say, I just don't remember, it's not even that Juan Martinez did it, it's that the office was involved. Certainly that's something that the attorneys want to question her about so that they could determine whether she should really rightfully sit on that jury, Yasmin.
Yeah, Wendy, Joey makes such a good point to a certain extent. I mean, if she had any connection, right, with Juan Martinez, would she have been an appropriate jury in the first place, an appropriate juror in the first place, excuse me?
And we would worry that she wouldn't be for exactly that reason. You know, sometimes some of these people that have had loved ones and in their view wrongfully prosecuted or even rightfully prosecuted, if they don't feel they were treated fairly, the bias may be against the whole office. And so it wouldn't even matter whether or not she recognized this particular prosecutor. The fact that it was the same office was certainly something that might have predicted a result like this down the road.
Joey, quickly, Dave Hall talked briefly about the parameters that are set up for someone, whether or not they can give the death penalty or not. And those parameters are sort of laid out to jurors, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. What happens is you have to be death penalty qualified. And what that means is you could put aside whatever your views, whatever your position, whatever your beliefs, you know, which could be hard to do. And if it is, that's fine. The law says you're just not right for this case. But if you can impose the death penalty, not if you will, if you can under appropriate circumstances, then you should sit. If you can't, then you shouldn't be on that jury.
And Wendy, what Joey just said is a very important distinction, is that yes, maybe you can, but it doesn't necessarily mean you will.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's even talking about this. I mean, we've got people that say I can give her a fair trial and I can kill her. It's so hard to even fathom that these are the questions these jurors have to be honest about at the beginning. But here's the tricky thing with death penalty cases. Many of those jurors that say, yes, I believe in it and yes, I could do it, when they're actually faced with a prospect change their mind. That's what we worry so much about, and that's why there is so much questioning on the front end about the situation. Could they really do it if it comes to that, as it did in this case?
Yeah, she also talked briefly about how her life is being threatened. I think we can all agree that is not the right direction for anybody to go in this scenario, of course. All right, so much more to talk about. Up next, an arrest in the shooting of 2 Ferguson, Missouri police officers. Police say Jeffrey Williams admits he fired the shots, but what was his motive? That's coming up.